Bellesa and I are doing a massive toy giveaway. More on that later. Alrighty, well, hello sinners. How are ya? On today's installment of the Letterboard of Truth, our quote of the day is, "Let's go, lesbians." Not only do we support lesbian rights on this channel, we also support lesbian wrongs. We'll be reacting to yet another Jubilee video today, but this time, we'll be talking about lesbians, aka carpet munchers, aka U-Haul enthusiasts. Jubilee has finally released a video for their Spectrum series dedicated to lesbians, and it's titled, "Do All Lesbians Think the Same?" If you're not aware, in Jubilee's Spectrum videos, they bring in people who share a similar characteristic or background and ask them questions to see if people from the same community agree or not. When I saw this in my subscription box, I got really excited and I knew that I had to react to this as soon as possible. I've been busy with other videos though, so I'm just getting around to it, but I'm looking forward to sharing my perspective as a fellow lesbian. Before we find out if all lesbians think the same, let's find out more about today's sponsor, bellesa. Hi, it's Later, and I'm here to tell you about today's sponsor, bellesa. Bellesa is a bi-women company for all things sexuality. They have toys, they have erotica, they have sexy adult films, they even have sex education. Bellesa's mission is to empower everyone to embrace, explore, and celebrate their sexuality. Their message really resonates with me because I believe everyone should explore their sexuality in a way that makes them feel comfortable and happy, which is why I'm excited to announce that my friends at Bellesa and I are sending out free vibrators. Yes, free vibrators and free gift cards for vibrators to everyone who signs up for my giveaway. Yes, you heard that right. Everyone who signs up at the link in my description wins something from Bellesa. I mean, what do you have to lose? So make sure you go to the link in my description to secure your free toy or free gift card. For now, I'm going to take you through some of my favorite toys from Bellesa, and I have a good variety here, so I'm sure you'll see at least one thing that'll pique your interest. First up, we have the Pebble. She's cute, she's pink, and she'll fit perfectly into your hand. You can control the suction and vibration independently, and best of all, there's no annoying pattern modes you have to deal with. Also, look at how adorable this charging case is. I mean, don't you just love the color? Next is the Air Vibe. She's a fun one. This is meant for G-spot and clitoral stimulation, but don't let her fool you. She's silent but deadly. The Air Vibe is rechargeable, waterproof, and also comes in discreet casing. After the Air Vibe is the Demi Wand. Now, this isn't a magic wand, but she might make your problems disappear for just a few moments. The Demi Wand works with all body types because orgasms are for everyone. We all deserve to feel good. It has a flexible neck that'll help you get the pressure or angle you're looking for. It's quiet, compact, discreet, and just like the other two, it also comes with an adorable charging case. And also, just like the others, it is rechargeable and 100% waterproof. This next one might be my personal favorite, and it's the Thrust. This is no joke, people. It's gorgeous, it's sexy, it's a powerful, realistic thrusting vibrator that stimulates the G-spot. The Thrust has 5 insertable inches, hello, and a ring of swirling beads at the base of the shaft. And you've guessed it, it's rechargeable and waterproof. Last but certainly not least, we have the Thump. It suctions, it vibrates, and it thumbs. It's like the Swiss Army knife of vibrators. The Thump is destined to be the de facto replacement for all external stimulating vibes. It utilizes Bellesa's improved pleasure jet technology with true feel vibrations that naturally complement the suction at its targeted base. The Thump also has innovative thump technology for natural clitoral palpitations on the back of the pop grip. It charges in a discreet carrying case, and yes, it is waterproof. Bellesa has a little something for everyone. By signing up through the link, you'll also be supporting my channel, so thank you so much for that. And who knows, maybe you'll win one of the toys I feature today. Thank you so much to Bellesa for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to your scheduled programming. All right, let's go, lesbians. Do we all think the same? Probably not, but let's find out.
Scissoring is a real thing. 3, 2, 1.
You're like, it's
Wow.
not what you think.
Scissoring. It's not what you think.
Of course, they give a preview of the scissoring question, but I'll give my full thoughts on that later. So the way that this will work is that when the interviewer gives the question, I will give my answer first, and then we will react to the other lesbians' answers.
I have fallen for a straight best friend.
Have I fallen for a straight best friend? No. Maybe not a best friend, but like maybe like a semi-decent friend. Yes, I have fallen for a straight friend, not necessarily a best friend. Although I haven't liked a straight girl for a while, so I've learned my lesson. Maybe like my early college days, I had a crush on some of my straight friends. I know in high school, I definitely had a crush on straight girls, but I wasn't friends with them. I just admired them from afar and also denied the fact that I was a lesbian and I was convinced that I would end up with a man. Clearly that did not happen. Do I think they're gonna say yes? I think it's gonna be half and half because I've met lesbians who have fallen for their best friend and I've met a lot of lesbians who haven't. So I'm gonna say half and half. So 5 out of 7 people have not fallen for a straight best friend. That's more than I thought, to be honest, but 2 people have. When will you learn? When will you learn?
Depending on who watches this. I mean, okay, depending on who watches this person might already know or might not know. You can't help who you fall in love with. I think that's clear. We all know that we already have attractions. That was my problem, was knowing but not being able to tell anyone or doing anything about it. So like literally going home every night crying and like, why am I like this? How can I change? But especially growing up in a small town where there's really no queer people. So who you really only gonna fall in love with straight people.
I can only speak for myself, but I think the reason why I liked a lot of straight girls in high school was, I don't know. I've learned my lesson though, because listen, liking straight people as a lesbian or a gay man, because it's different for like bisexual and pansexual people, because a bisexual girl can fall in love with a straight man and vice versa, that's possible. But if you are a gay man and lesbian specifically, falling for a straight best friend is murky territory, and it only results in heartbreak and disappointment. Like this person said, you know, especially if you grow up in a small town and there's no openly queer people, that's kind of your only option. I grew up in a fairly liberal town and I went to a really big high school, but surprisingly, I didn't know a lot of queer people or a lot of openly out queer people. I think a lot of people from my high school came out after we graduated, which is typical. That's what I did.
I think when I was younger, I was like obsessed with my best friends, specifically like girl best friends, where I wouldn't say I was like in love, but I placed a lot of like the love feelings that I wanted on them without knowing what it was.
Is that Kimmy Scott's fiance? That's so fun. I love that.
It never happened even like long ago. I was always dating girls who were not straight. If I had found out that someone I was interested in was straight, I'd be like, that's it.
Mm-hmm. As you should. Liking a straight person, it'll go nowhere. Like I said, it only leads to disappointment.
I had a lot of internalized homophobia, and all my friends were always queer growing up since like elementary school. So for me, I think I never gave myself that opportunity to like fall for a straight girl.
You know, it's funny they mention that because it seems like naturally, even if they're not out, queer people naturally attract each other, even just as friends. For me personally, back in high school, and I say high school because I was not out in high school. When I came out as bisexual and eventually lesbian, that was completely different. My main friend group was straight in high school, but I also did theater and choir, so I knew a lot of LGBT people. So I think I personally had a good mix of LGBT and straight people in my life, but I never fell for the straight girls who I was friends with because, I don't know, I saw them as a friend. I thought that was weird. Yeah, like random straight girls in my class, that was my type. Oh my God, I'm exposing myself here.
Basically, a lot of my women best friends are queer or ended up coming out. I've lost a lot of friends for coming out because it's like, oh, like Kaylee, she's a lesbian, she likes me. No, that's not how it is. My very attractive best friends that are just my friends and we're like this, you know? And that's just how I am.
Like, yeah, I think you could be friends with the people who identify as the gender you're attracted to. Like, I have no problem being friends with women as a lesbian. And it sucks that this person lost a lot of friends once they came out as a lesbian. Thankfully, that was not my experience coming out, but I know a lot of people experience that, and that's really unfortunate. You know, we should all be able to love who we want to love, be who we want to be, and we should wish the same for our friends. I've also heard a lot of stories where straight women get weird when a girl best friend of theirs comes out as a lesbian because it's like, oh, don't hit on me. And it's like, oh, why did you think you were my type anyway? Again, that hasn't happened to me. For some reason, I got really lucky with the people in my life when I came out. And obviously, I'm not going to invalidate people's experiences because I know some lesbians and other queer folk who that has happened to.
Scissoring is a real thing.
Scissoring. Classic adult lesbian film move. Is scissoring a real thing? Yes, but not how you think. I would say that if you are a baby gay or inexperienced and you want to learn more about intimacy between two women, don't reference lesbian adult films because most of them are trash and made for straight people. And most of the time they don't even feature lesbians either. Like, what the f? If you're gonna fetishize us, at least include us. Like I said, to answer the question, yes, scissoring is real. Tribbing is real. That's like another, I don't know if it's another form of scissoring, but it's a similar act. Some lesbians like scissoring, some of them don't. It really depends who you ask. It's just like every other sex act. Everyone has a preference.
3, 2, 1.
No?
Wow, I'm shocked.
I would be on the strongly agree side. Like, yeah, it's a legit thing. But I guess, you know, maybe not every lesbian has done it, and that's okay, you know? Maybe that's not everyone's thing.
Can we say
Not in this YouTube video, bestie. Unfortunately, I do have to censor the corn with the P word.
Okay. Certain, like, I don't know if it's censored as it, but no, some people, especially, you know, maybe cis men that fetishize lesbians, will see porn and they're doing things that, like, you don't do. Like, that's not something you do. But it is real, and I mean, it's validating people that do it, but it's also, like, it's not what you really think.
Literally, me and V, I think that's their name, we're on the same page. And also, their outfit is fire. Freaking love those overalls. I love the shirt. Very gay, very fun. Everyone in this video is dressed very nicely. Lesbians just know, we know how to dress, says this lesbian with a fluorescent beanie on.
I'll leave it at that.
It's like some clickbait for it.
It's scissoring. It's not what you think.
No, for real, the way you see it in adult lesbian films, it's not the same as it is in real life. A lot of lesbian adult films you see are sensationalized. They're not really, it's not really true to the experience. It's not true to the experience of legit lesbian sex.
It's like see it to believe it. I've done it, so I believe that it is real.
Good for you, Queen.
I would take everyone's word for it, whatever you say, obviously. I don't know. I've heard that it kind of works, and then I've also heard that absolutely not. They just won't do it. It does not happen.
It works better for some people than others, and some people just don't like it. And that's totally valid. If you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's also great. But it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of flexibility, a lot of, this is so weird to talk about. The real ones know that when you scissor, you put a vibrator in between you two. All right? That's some scissoring life hacks for you. We also got to appreciate the shirt from today's sponsor, Charge Your Vibrator. So if you haven't charged your vibrator today, you better do so.
If you enjoy it, it's real. You like kissing, it's real. You like scissoring, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, like, rule book of, like, how to be intimate with someone. It's your connection with your partner or the person you're messing with.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. I find that even though more people are identifying as queer nowadays because it's generally more accepted, there's still a very heteronormative outlook on sex where some people only see it as penis going into vagina, when that's not the case for a lot of people. Sometimes it's penis and butt, or silicone penis in someone's hole. I don't know. Whatever you like. There are many, many different ways of engaging in sexual intercourse with someone. It doesn't always have to be penetrative either. Just like with scissoring, penetration is not everyone's cup of tea in the lesbian community. In any community in general. Some people like it, some people don't. Really, it's all a matter of preference.
I think I'm gonna switch because I've personally only been with 2 people, being queer. My first experience with the first person was very much like, I didn't know what I was, what to do or what to expect. It personally didn't do much for me. That's why I wanted to switch, because I do know it's real because I have done it, but just not my thing.
Scissoring's fun, but I would recommend stretching first. Some lunges.
I certainly think it's real. I certainly think it's not for everybody. But I also certainly think it's a trial and error. Like, you have to practice, basically, and keep going. I'm gonna turn into a sex therapist really quick. Like, it's...
You have to do what? Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's very true with sex in general. Like, especially when you're first starting out, it might take you a bit to find out or discover what you're into, because participating in solo play versus partner play is very different. Obviously, solo play, you're just worrying about pleasing yourself, but when you're with someone else or multiple people, if that's your thing, you have to also worry about what they're into and what makes them feel good. But, you know, especially if you're with the right person, you'll get the rhythm after a while.
Everybody's body type is different, meaning every angle is different. So that's what I mean by trial and error, and you really have to do it multiple times until you get it right. It's like everything. You do stuff until you learn what you like.
So true. I like all the lesbians featured. All of them seem to come from different backgrounds and are very insightful in their own ways. Like, let's go out, let's be besties.
I have never had sex with a man.
So before everyone parts ways, I personally have never had sex with a man. I've kissed more men than I would have liked to in my lifetime, but I have kissed a man. I haven't gone further than that. Technically, that would make me a gold star gay, even though I really fucking hate that term. I don't think your past experiences make you any more or less gay. If you like someone of the same gender, you are gay. I think this one's gonna be half and half, just because, you know, everybody's background is different, and I don't know, I'm going with my gut feeling.
There's no middle ground.
We got some.
I'm thinking yes or no,
Like,
right?
maybe it
I'm
happened.
like, kind of.
We have some gold stars.
We
Okay.
got gold stars.
4 out of the 7 lesbians would technically be gold stars, even though, in my opinion, that's kind of a problematic term, because like I said, sleeping with a man in the past doesn't make you any more or less of a lesbian. I don't think we should judge people's gayness based on what they've done before. If you say you're gay, that's valid, that's it. I'm not coming at this person, by the way, I'm coming at the term gold star itself.
I've only been with one man who just so happened to be trans. That was enough for me to be like, this is not me. I was still seeking the parts of him that I think connected him to womanhood. And I really did him a disservice. Like, I was a terrible person for that. Also, the whole thing with gold stars, I feel it's not great. Gold stars should not mean anything.
I feel like the people who say that phrase unironically are like gay men who are like, vaginas are so disgusting. How do you even like, what do you even do with it? I don't know, it's cringe to me.
The term or like, what do you mean?
I mean, no, agree. I wasn't saying that like, oh, congrats to us, because there are lesbians who are like, ooh, I will only date like people gold stars. But I'm not saying like gold stars are better than not.
I know there's the whole debate in the lesbian community on sleeping with bisexual women or not because of their past and present history with men. I feel like that's gotten better nowadays. Like, I feel like the LGBTQ plus community is more accepting of each other in general. I've never met a lesbian with that kind of mindset. Personally, I've never understood it. My girlfriend now is a lesbian, but if I were single, I would have no problem dating a bisexual. I mean, obviously, like, I want to date my girlfriend, so I will always choose her. But yeah, I never got that. As long as the person likes you and is loyal to you and treats you well, who cares if they're lesbian, pan, bi, whatever.
It's just a term in my mind. That's what I was like referring to when I said that, not like.
I disagree with the whole thing of gold star lesbians being better than everyone else.
So true. KJ, you are so based, queen. I love you. I love everyone in this video so far. Like, it's such a peaceful discussion. Everyone's just having a nice conversation. It's wholesome. I like when gay people are getting along and having a good time. I think we all deserve that.
Yeah, no, it happened, you know? I was in high school, you know, you live and you learn. I tried multiple times, and I was like, something ain't clicking. Like, isn't sex supposed to be amazing? And then I had it with women, and I was like, oh, got it.
Yeah, true. Like I said, I've never personally slept with a man. I definitely noticed a difference between kissing a guy and kissing a girl. The feelings were just stronger when I connected with a girl. Like, whenever I kissed a guy, like years ago, it felt performative to me. Like, it never felt genuine. Meanwhile, when kissing a woman, I feel the spark. Like, I get like the fireworks in the background in movies when 2 main characters are kissing. Like, I finally understood that when I kissed a girl for the first time. And I understand that now when I kiss my current girlfriend.
Funny that you said that because I feel like the first time I had sex was the first time I had sex with a woman. I came out when I was 29 and I was about to be engaged to a man. And so I was at the point where I had to be real with myself and really had to be like, if I don't come out now, I'm gonna be 50 with a child and married. Coming out.
Who's the YouTuber? Elena Joy had a similar experience where she was with a guy for like 10 plus years and she broke the engagement because she came out as a lesbian. I think that is common among LGBT people, you know, unfortunately. It's good that she broke it off. It's not fair to her and it's not fair to her former partner because the connection's not genuine. So I'm glad this person here did what was best for her and her ex-fiance.
I have had sex with men. I was straight for 29 years, but I always knew I was gay. But yeah, so that's why I'm here.
With the wide spectrum of what people consider sex is, I had my fair share of experiments with men. I had thought I was asexual because I didn't have any romantic attraction to men.
Same. Oh my God. I was like, am I just like not attracted to anyone? And then I started dating girls full time and I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. I mean, obviously people feel that connection with men as well. And I'm not invalidating that. But for me, that never happened. There were definitely guys in my personal life growing up that I thought were cute and I found them attractive, but I wasn't attracted to them. That's the difference. Like there's definitely a difference between finding someone attractive and being attracted to them. And I don't think I got that when I was younger.
I felt forced to engage in certain activities to fit in with my friends, my cis friends around me. It just happens, and if you're not growing up with homosexuality being normalized, you're kind of just forced into it.
Compulsory heterosexuality is the worst. I'm finding myself relating a lot to the folks in this video. Also, I realize I've been saying compulsory heterosexuality or compet a lot, so let me explain what that means for those of you who don't know. It's the theory that heterosexuality is assumed and enforced upon people by a patriarchal and heteronormative society. So you basically feel like you have to be heterosexual, you have to be into the opposite gender in order to be normal and accepted in society, which we now know isn't true. When you're not exposed to gay people growing up or you have a lot of internalized homophobia, you feel like you're forced to act heterosexual just to fit in.
I dated men through college. I still don't consider myself like full on the Kinsey scale or whatever, fully lesbian. I'm still attracted to men, but I was super Christian. And so I just was not doing sexy things at all, which is a bummer. I like wish I would have had sex with men. It's gone now, ring on the finger, I'm moving forward. I don't know, sounds like it's not all cracked up to be from over there, I don't know.
And hey, that's valid. I mean, sexuality is fluid for some people. I know for some others, they're very towards one end of the scale or the other. Just like for this person, Cammie Scott's fiance, Taryn, love you queen, you know, she still has like that minor attraction towards men, and that's okay. You know, you like what you like, and as a woman, your attraction to the opposite gender doesn't invalidate your attraction to the same gender.
Yeah, like a part of me, yeah, like I genuinely do agree because like I grew up like also like, I was very like Christian household and like, you know, when I was younger, I thought like you had to wait till you're married to have sex, and then when I realized that's not a thing, I just was like, oh, I really just don't like men. What do I do? And then I just like pushed it aside, all that stuff. So I mean, there is a part of me that's like, wow, I'm like, I really will never have sex with a man, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having sex with men, but yeah, maybe in another world, another life I will. I don't know, not this life, I guess.
I feel a very close kinship with V, even though we don't know each other. Like, they're just saying everything I'm thinking. Like, we have very similar experiences. I also grew up religious, and I bought into the notion that you have to wait till marriage to have sex, that virginity changes you so much as a person, when in reality, like, sex is sex. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. You're still the same person before and after, and your virginity or lack thereof doesn't define you.
I've been like a tomboy like my whole life, and like I've always viewed like my guy friends as my guy friends, and like I didn't know that like in elementary, like one of my guy best friends had a massive crush on me because I was like, oh, that's the bro, you feel me? Yeah, like I've just always had friends, and it's never been more than that.
I totally relate. Like, my best friend in the first few years of elementary school was a boy. Funny thing is, we both turned out gay. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Yeah, it was hard for me to picture guys in that way. I never had a boy crazy phase. I just didn't get the hype.
It's a little silly that like I'm standing on this line and imagining the comments already of people being like, well, how do you know that you're lesbian if you didn't try it with a guy?
They can shut up.
And I'm like,
Respectfully, they can shut up. You just know.
yeah, it's like, well, I would never ask a straight person that.
Yeah, Taryn's totally right. You know, maybe sometimes experiences can confirm what you're thinking, but at the end of the day, you know yourself, you know what you like and you don't like, and you don't need to have sex with the opposite gender to, I guess, validate your gayness or just to make sure that it's legit. You know, some people just know. And we've seen the opposite being true on this panel of some of the other lesbians saying that they've slept with a man and then realized they were gay. Sometimes, you know, experiences can teach you that, and for others, you just know. Both are still valid at the end of the day. Oh my God, if you made a drinking game of how many times I've said preference and valid in this video, you would all be dead. So don't do that. I need to get a thesaurus on hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Like, you don't go to straight people and you're like, well, you've never had sex. Well, I mean, I always tell people to try it if they want.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bad influence.
Gay men are more privileged than lesbians.
Ooh, this is a spicy one. I'm going to share my thoughts on this before they give their perspectives. Yes and no. I think gay men benefit from male privilege, obviously, especially a white gay man. Besides like general homophobia, gay men are discriminated against in a slightly different way than lesbians are. A lot of the times, sapphics are fetishized and our relationships with other women are not taken seriously. And that happens with gay men to a certain degree. But on the other hand, with gay men, you know, manhood is pretty fragile in today's society, at least from what I've seen. For some reason, it's seen as emasculating or like degrading to be a man dating another man because you're going against your own gender norms, because every man is expected to be this big macho guy who gets all the ladies and makes a lot of money. And, you know, obviously you can like make a lot of money and do all that stuff as a gay man, but you're going against one of the main pillars of what it is to be a true man. In general, being gay, you're breaking gender norms because you're not following the path where you're supposed to, you know, get married to someone of the opposite gender and have kids with them. I mean, both gay men and lesbians experience homophobia, obviously, but I do think it's different, and also the male privilege thing. Yeah, lesbians, we don't get that. Interesting. Okay.
I feel like women being on the queer spectrum at all is like less legitimate to some people than like men saying that they're on the queer spectrum at all.
See, I promise you, I didn't watch the video beforehand, but like, yeah, that's essentially what I said. Like, we're all on the same page. I love it.
A lot of people refer to me or other women in my life as like, it's a phase. Oh, you'll get over it. It's a phase. But like, I don't really see that happening with men. If they're gay or whatever, it's everyone's like, they're gay, which I think is a privilege.
I've seen it happen with men. You know, some people's labels change over time, and that's fine. That doesn't necessarily mean that them being gay or whatever their previous label was false at any point. It just means they learned more about themselves and they found a new label that fits them better. But yeah, it's not a phase. I hate when people say that.
It is like, in a way, a privilege because you're already established. I'm a gay man. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've been with my partner, and like, oh, that's your friend? By my own parents. Oh, how your friend doing? You seen us holding hands. What do you mean, how's my friend doing? You know I don't do this with my friends.
Yeah, it sucks that a lot of the time people don't see lesbian relationships as like real relationships. I mean, we just learned with the Tara's World video that a lot of men are okay with their girlfriends kissing other girls because they don't view sapphic relationships as legitimate. And I just think that's one example of how that's a thing in our society. Unrelated, this is kind of a funny story. I took my girlfriend to get a tarot card reading for her birthday a few months ago. I went first. I went to the tarot card reader first, and she told me that I was going to end up with a wonderful man. Yep. We'll see if that ever happens. She also told my girlfriend that she would end up with a wonderful man too. So keep you updated.
Unrelated, but the amount of times I've like visibly kissed my partner on the lips in public and then had somebody come up to me like, you're really close with your sister.
Oh, sister.
And I'm like, excuse me?
That's such a weird thing to say to someone. Like, do siblings kiss each other on the lips? Maybe when they're little kids, like, because I know little kids kiss their parents on the lips sometimes, and that's not weird because, you know, they're little. Who cares? But I've never heard of like grown siblings kissing. You know, outside of like Alabama or whatnot. Sorry, shout out to the the citizens of Alabama. Shout out if you're watching.
So yeah, I do like that is always really weird for me. But it was a little unrelated, but it does happen a lot.
I think that we all have our own struggles. I've known people where it's like, oh, I'll tell my kids about lesbians, but not gay men. Like they can't see that because for a lot of men, they fetishize lesbians in a way, so it's more approachable for them. Gay men, they're like, oh no, like, you know, like the F slur, all that stuff, like very aggressive towards them. So I feel as if it is easier to come out as a lesbian to some people based on society's like fetishizers and stuff.
I do think what Natalie said was pretty valid as well. Like in some instances, it is easier to come out as a lesbian. I'm not an expert on coming out as a gay man, obviously, because hi, lesbian. But if you're a gay man and you want to share your coming out experience, and if anything I said was inaccurate, if anything they said was inaccurate or vice versa, please let us know.
It's funny because it would probably be the opposite. I'm Mexican, and my dad, one time we would like go to rent movies, and one time he got Brokeback Mountain without knowing what it was about. He was like, oh yeah, sometimes two men fall in love. And then when I came out to him, it was like the most disgusting thing to him. For my culture and my experience, it's a little bit different because a woman being with another woman and like a man not being present is kind of just fed into like the machismo in my culture. So that's why I would strongly agree.
If you are a Mexican queer person, or even if you're not, even if you are of Mexican descent, I would love to hear more about this, so please feel free to let me know your perspective in the comments. But yeah, it sucks she had a rough coming out experience with her family. That's never easy to deal with.
Lesbianism has always been not only fetishized, but romanticized. People get to cherry pick what part of queer culture they want. Cis women kissing each other at parties, and oh, that's so cool, that's so ha 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 quirky. In a sense of hate and hate crime, you're a lot more to take a double take at two men holding hands than you are at two women holding hands. Because are they besties or are they a couple? You know, you never know.
Affection between two women, even if they're just friends, is more normalized than affection between two male friends. Like you never see like two guy friends like holding hands or like hugging each other or like linking arms together like you would see two girl best friends. For me personally, I've never been a touchy-feely person, even to this day. I'm only really affectionate with my partner. But before I came out as a lesbian, I was in such a deep state of denial that I would rarely hug my friends. I was never the type to give affection to my friends, like linking arms, hugging, and stuff like that. I had such internalized homophobia that I felt like if I let the hug linger for too long, for example, my friends would know that I was gay and I was not ready or would have been able to handle coming out at that time. Let me know if you've ever experienced that, because I feel like that's a common experience with lesbians.
I have damaged relationships with my loved ones because of my sexuality.
For me personally, thankfully, I've never had any issues coming out to my parents, my extended family, and my friends. I'm very lucky to have grown up and continue to live in a very accepting environment where I haven't lost any friendships or familial relationships because of my sexuality. My parents have always been accepting, and as far as I know, my extended family is also super accepting, at least the people that know that I'm gay. Some people I just haven't seen in years and they don't know that I date women now. And obviously all my friends accept me as a lesbian, otherwise they would not be in my life. But I know that I'm in a very privileged position because I've never had to worry about being kicked out or being ostracized because of my sexuality or gender.
I feel like my relationship like with my parents has kind of shifted it since I came out. I have no regrets. Like my parents love me for like who I am. And even though they're a little hesitant, like, you know, I have one of my guy best friends, he's like, you sure you don't want to date Sean? Like, he's so nice for you. I'm like, they don't get it. It's still that disconnect, because I do wish they reacted a little bit better to it. But there's nothing I could do about it. At the end of the day, I still love who I am, and I'm not going to change myself for even my parents.
And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope that her parents fully come around to the idea of her being a lesbian and they fully accept her one day and let go of that hope of their daughter falling in love with a man. If you can't fully accept and love your child for who they are, then you probably shouldn't become a parent.
I grew up severely Mormon, and my relationship with my father is non-existent because of it, and I am a firm believer it's because he chose the religion over me. The only thing he said was, read this verse in the Bible. There was no conversation or nothing. It still hurts, obviously, because he's still my father, but if he's not gonna love me 100%, don't love me at all. And that's how I see it.
I'm sorry that she had to go through that. I'm sure it was very painful to realize that her father wasn't going to accept her for who she is. But there's always your chosen family. You don't have to always stick with the family you're born with. And I'm glad that she reached a point where she chose to love and accept herself instead of conforming to other people's standards, even her father's. I mean, I'm sure that was really painful to deal with because, at the end of the day, I think most people want a relationship with their parents, ideally, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way, unfortunately, and it's a painful reality to deal with. I'm really sorry that she had to go through that.
Similar to you, I had kind of a rocky relationship with my dad. He was very angry when I came out, and now he's at a place where he has told me, like, I accept that you're gay and I accept that you're going to be with a woman. He's like, I just had a vision of what your life was going to pan out to be, and you kind of just threw that off. He tells me he accepts me, but it's just going to take time for him to acclimate to being around my partner. My dad is also like terminally ill, so I rather not carry like anger through the remainder of years that he has left with him, and just kind of like acknowledge that at least he's trying to make an effort to love me for me.
I'm sorry that she has to go through that too. Like, it must suck to not only deal with the fact that, your dad doesn't 100% accept you, but also that his time on this earth is very limited. I wish them the best in terms of like repairing their relationship and moving forward. And I know I had that rant of like, if you're a parent and you can't accept your children fully who they are, you shouldn't be a parent. And I do stick by that, but I also understand if parents need a little time to accept it, especially if it comes out of the blue. I get that. Like, I think both can be true at once. Like, it's okay to, take time to wrap your head around the news, but also if you're just gonna like discriminate and like be hateful towards your kid, that's like pretty f***ed up. In a perfect world, all queer people would be in accepting and loving families and have a good support system around them.
I haven't spoken to my father. This year will mark 5 years. And when I came out as trans, my attraction to women, my father had a problem with it at that point. I guess it confused him. And to this day, that is an expectation that trans women are only attracted to men, and that's not the case. I'll say now, I miss my dad. I love him. I tried. It's done.
Oh, that just broke my heart. Oh, I want to give KJ a hug. She seems so sweet. Like KJ said, some people misunderstand and assume that gender and sexuality are the same thing, which they're not. They're mutually exclusive. Obviously, I can't speak on being a trans woman and a lesbian because that's not my lived experience. I am a cis lesbian, but I think we should fully embrace trans lesbians into the community because trans women are women, and if a trans woman likes a woman, that's pretty gay. Congratulations, you are a gay lady.
I feel bad saying, everyone has such like a heart. I was been very blessed. My family's very accepting. They've always knew. So when I came out, they're like, okay, very lucky. But I feel so bad saying that after that. I'm like,
We love that.
What do you mean?
no, it's, I'm like, I'm gonna stay quiet.
I mean, I think it's fantastic that she had such an amazing support system. I love that for her. And I wish every queer person got to experience that. And it's obviously not Natalie's fault that people suck and don't always accept their kids. I just want queer people to be happy and healthy and loved and safe.
You feel safe around your parents, which is what a lot of people don't have, and hopefully you're gonna carry that onto your kids if you decide to have any. But hopefully, like, you'll get to share that with other people. So don't feel bad. I mean, it's a good thing. We're happy for you.
No, I know.
Exactly.
I'm like,
It's a blessing.
yeah,
It's a blessing.
definitely.
That's so sweet. Everyone's so wholesome and lovely in this. And you know what? The lesbians who said that they don't have great relationships with their parents, if they decide to have kids one day, I have no doubt that they will be wonderful and accepting and supportive and compassionate parents if they choose to go that route.
This is a wrap. You all did amazing. You did so good. Give yourself a round of applause. You did great.
That was like the most wholesome and lovely Jubilee episode I've ever seen. I think this might be my favorite video of theirs. I don't know, I feel like I've been talking about some sad and frustrating shit on my channel lately, so I'm glad I was able to react to a positive video today. Shout out to all the lesbians in this video. You are so valid and you're so loved. You all seem so lovely and sweet, so if any of you want to ever come on my channel for an interview or whatnot, let me know. What I would love, though, is an episode with lesbians and gay men, like an episode of Middle Ground or something. I think I saw a few comments mention that. I think that would be amazing. So Jubilee, please make that happen. If you need a lesbian for that panel, I'm right here. Wow, what a crazy turn of events that would be. I go from reacting to Jubilee to being on Jubilee. How cool. If there are any other Jubilee videos that you want me to react to in the future, let me know down below. In general, if there's anything you want to see from me going forward, I have a Google form linked in the description where you could submit your video ideas. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you so much to Bellesa for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys, and I'll see you very soon with a brand new video. Bye.